to look at how acceptable, cloud computing is to them. So looking at this, for a PhD, what it means is if you have like a broad topic as cloud computing, for example, let's use that as a case study. When you just say you're going to look into, the adoption of cloud-based information system, you have to narrow down to the specific. So this title he has in the first instance, if he adds maybe a case study of, let's say, Ahmadu Bello University to this title, that could stand as an undergraduate project. You get me? So, it goes in steps. Like on the graduate level of research, you look at, like an overall body of study at the undergraduate level. So when you come to, okay, let's say this second one, for example, okay, and then for the masters, you could, pick, say, okay, you're taking institutional readiness and adoption and, this comparative study, for example. At the master's level, this could also stand as, as a dissertation. But for a PhD, you have to be very, very, and you have to be more specific. I don't know if I'm clear. Is this for Yahuza? Muhammad Yahuza, I believe this is your topic.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so I want you to interact with me while we go through this.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
And yeah, I think it'll be better. So, looking at this now, this is a good topic. But when you say you want to look at cloud computing generally, for a PhD, you have to be more specific than this.
Yes.
Yeah. So, cloud computing on its own, it has different models, service models. Are you looking at software as a service adoption, infrastructure as a service adoption, or platform as a service adoption? You have to be specific about that.
Yes.
About the type. So, you understand?
Yes.
And then, so if you say you're looking at that, you now have to decide again, okay, for that software as a service, particularly, for example, if I don't know if you're aware of, let's say, Google Cloud, for example. We might be aware of this, I'm sure. So maybe if you're trying to look at Google Cloud, you have to be specific about, okay, I'm looking at Google Cloud. So are you trying to compare the adoption of Google Cloud with another one? Let's say iCloud, for example. I'm just using it for the, other people to, get the grasp of what we're talking about. Are you trying to compare the adoption of those two? Or are you trying to see how to optimize? You get where I'm going? Are you trying to optimize the use of Google Cloud? What ways would you use?
Yes, I wanted, based on what we discussed with Dr. Adiza, I wanted to maybe make a study that will assess even if there are those cloud-based information systems available in the Nigerian tertiary institutions. So what are they? And in what area they specifically use those systems most? And in what area are they lagging behind in that particular aspect?
Yeah, I understand. So I'm not trying to undermine your efforts. You understand? Yes. I agree what you're trying to do. For a PhD, I think that would just fit, an objective or two of your PhD. You get what I'm saying?
Sorry, it's masters.
Okay, it's masters. Oh, it's masters. I see. Okay, I see. Okay, so what do you intend to do with your findings? Okay, you want to see the challenges. Are you trying to propose?
Yes. That's what I'm trying to identify. How the topic I wanted to take, I seek advice from Dr. Adiza. That I was thinking of picking the one that is talking about the institutional readiness.
Okay.
And then how ready are they in utilizing those systems, and what are the challenges they are facing, and probably providing a recommendation on how to cope with those challenges.
Okay, I understand. So, looking at this, I ran a simple Google Scholar search. You understand?
Yes.
So, for you to work with this second title,
Yes.
I'll quickly share my browser screen. Sorry, I'm just sharing and sharing.
Okay.
Okay. So generally now, what we do is you look at what's it like with cloud computing adoption in Nigeria.
Yes.
You understand? So here in the list of papers that are here, would look and see. Would look and see which one talks about you see, we have a systematic analysis of enterprise perception for cloud computing. So this in African states, but this is Nigerian perspective. And then they said this second one, this is the most latest, 2024. It's saying most prevalent barriers to the implementation and adoption of cloud computing by construction. Okay, this is by construction professionals.
Yes.
We're looking at tertiary education, right?
Yes.
That's what we want. So this would be useful, this one here. But what's most important is, let's look at this one for effective university administration. So when you talk about your own cloud computing, in what aspect? Is it in is it in lectures? How would I even put it? In what aspect of university operations do you want to look at the application of cloud computing? What aspect?
I wanted to take administrative aspects of the university, and then maybe library, the way maybe they use those cloud computing devices to store information, and then use that information to be rendered to the users.
So I would say you have to focus on one thing, either on administrative. That's student registration, student results and stuff, certificates and everything, or you take the library. So you have to narrow your focus more again. I don't know if that's clear.
Yes.
So let's open this paper and see what it has.
Okay.
Yes. Should I increase the size or it's okay?
It's okay, ma. It's okay.
Okay. So looking at this, let's see a summary of what they have done. They said, starting from here, this work investigates the use of cloud computing for effective administration in Nigerian universities. So from analysis, the research reveals trends, weaknesses, opportunity, and threats in the adoption of cloud technology and points out concerns and challenges impeding its adoption. So my concern with your research, you see, somebody has something similar, very similar. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So you have to look at what novelty do you want to bring? If somebody has done this already, what would you want to add to what they have done? Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So it further discusses enormous benefits the university stand to gain for adopting the cloud technology and proposed threat mitigation techniques. So I asked you what you were going to do with your findings.
Yes.
So for this paper, when they did their findings, they found out the strengths and the weaknesses and the opportunities. And then they now looked at threats a bit. Is that clear?
Yeah.
So what they now did with their findings was, they now created like a threat mitigation strategy. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's my question. Okay, when you find out what the problems are, what are you going to offer with that problem? Are you building a solution? You understand? Are you building like a policy, adoption framework, a framework adoption or policy document, for maybe the government? So it all depends. You have to put that into consideration when you're writing.
Yes, that's what I intended to do, ma'am. Okay. So at least bring out something that will, if the stakeholders involved, particularly the government, wants to improve the system, then it could be to improve the system.
So your objective is, the aim of your research is to examine the use of cloud computing in Nigerian tertiary education. I don't know if you're noting down anything. And then examining the adoption of cloud computing in the Nigerian tertiary education system, and then developing like a policy policy document to guide the adoption of cloud computing.
Yes.
Of effective, an effective, adoption strategy for cloud computing. So that could be sort of, you have to name your title to capture that a bit.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think we need to work more on this, like maybe behind the scenes with you, as we go. So I don't take all the time trying to do, because I wish to have like a document to share with us, so we'll go step by step to see what we're going to adjust. So are you going to write a research proposal, or you're just going to start writing your dissertation?
No, I just want to write the proposal first.
Okay. So looking at this, your proposal, the introduction, of course, you would briefly talk about cloud computing, right?
Yes.
You know that. Yeah. That's your first paragraph. As you see what these people do here.
Yes.
They just briefly discussed it. They now they thought that this is the characteristic of cloud computing here. And then after that, what you want to address in your introduction is, so far, this just a brief summary of what kind of studies have been conducted in that area. I don't know if I'm clear enough.
Yes, but yeah.
So just capture, like 2 or 3 researches that have been done. Just give a summary of them. You understand? For example, yes. You quote this document saying, like, according to a study by Imran Adeleke, Ismail, and this and that, they conducted an analysis of cloud adoption, and their study revealed, strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities in the Nigerian context. And then you now quote another study again and say maybe this study, after conducting an analysis of the adoption, they went ahead to, profile like threat mitigation techniques. You get what I'm saying? So you cite like 2 or 3 studies in your introduction to show the state of the art, that what's currently happening in that area. And then in your second to the last paragraph, like here, you now talk about what you want to do, what's the focus of your study.
Yes.
And then you highlight your research questions and your research objectives in that introduction.
Yes, sir.
So that's your first part of the research proposal done. Then you now come and this related literature, you have it as your literature review.
Yes.
Where you now critically analyze, if this Imran Adeleke and some other people have done this and that, their studies fail to address this and this and this area. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
So in this your literature review, you now critically analyze the existing literature. You're not limiting yourself to 2 or 3 studies. You have up to at least 8 or 9 that you have critically reviewed. You now add them here. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is going to sort of inform the gap you're trying to fill. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Then we have your methodology section.
Okay.
You talked about using technology acceptance models, that's the TAM.
Yes.
Yeah. So you now come and discuss it briefly. Give a brief overview of what the TAM is and the theories behind the TAM, and then how you intend to analyze your results.
Yes.
Yeah. So for your analysis, if you're using TAM, it means you're administering survey to people.
Yeah.
So if you're using that, your analysis could your analysis here, you have the option of using maybe principal component analysis. Is it regression analysis you want to use? Like you look at the statistical analysis that are applicable to that TAM model you want to adopt. And then you briefly discuss that. And I think with that, then the next thing is your intended result. I don't think it's necessary. I think with that you have your the main component of your research proposal already. So what will happen is I maybe in the next meeting, or if you don't want it to be too public, you could reach out to me with like a rough how would I go say a rough copy of what you have. So we look into it and address, anything that needs addressing. Yes. Give feedback. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So hello everybody.
Yes,
yeah, I think let me give room for some other person to chip in.
So I think Mada Ahmed, can you take over? Okay. Let me add one or two. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity. Let me see whether I can add one or two points to what Dr. Fatima said. I think Dr. Fatima is mentioning most of the but one thing I want to stress is that most important is that gap is very, very important. To see that that gap addressed because in terms of proposal is to make sure that we address that gap.
Sorry, sir. Can you be more audible, sir? Your voice is a bit low.
Okay. And I think the background noise.
Yes.
Ahmad, the background noise. Okay. So let me. Can you hear me now very well?
Yes.
Yes, you're clear.
Oh, excellent, sir.
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much. So one thing I want to stress is maybe scholars should be very, very careful to avoid broad or vague research proposal. So you must make sure your research proposal to a very specific area, addressing or targeting a specific objectives, so that it will not look as if you are trying to answer all the question which is not possible to be answered. And then the most important thing also is to consider the most recent research or recent knowledge within that framework or within that body of knowledge. So I suggest, now that Dr. Fatima has mentioned that there are some past papers that have addressed the problem that the scholar is trying to address, I think he should be able to read that paper very extensively, so that he can be able to identify what is the research findings that particular paper has not addressed, so that he can identify the gap and then see how he can tailor his research objectives, research proposal to address that particular problem. And then another thing is to make sure that the research, can you hear me very well? Yes, sir.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, so and also nowadays research are much more interesting if they are multidisciplinary. So I think it's very, very interesting. The research topic is much more related to cloud computing, which is one of the emerging area of science now, focusing on how we can improve the way we are doing things, more specifically using the artificial intelligence and cloud computing stuff. So I think those are the small points I will add. But as time goes on, if there's any other thing, I can come in and then share more knowledge about that. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Madam Ahmad. I think I will call on Dr. Hadiza to chip in one or two things.
I don't have much to say actually.
Hadiza.
I don't have much to say actually. But as Malan Rufai suggested, maybe he can go through the recommendations from the previous researchers, then you should add up to that. Can you hear me?
Okay, ma'am. Inshallah, I will try to do that.
All right.
Any contribution or suggestion from the audience? Anyone willing to contribute? Anyone willing to contribute to answer this one? Muhammad Yahuza, do you have anything to say?
Yes, sir. Almost everything I intended to ask is been answered, especially by Dr. Ahmed and Dr. Fatima. The only thing I want to ask is, can it be possible for me to, like, the variables of my research? How, I don't know how to put the question, but like someone advised me before, when someone is trying to do a research, he has to be able to be more narrow, very specific to a particular area, that he can fill the research gap that is in that area. So I want to see, based on the topic I brought now, how can I be more specific in my research?
Yeah. So, answering that question, if you want to look at the administrative side of things in the university, are you listening?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So you could narrow down more onto I don't know how students do their registration these days. I don't know how they access their results. Do you understand? So you could pick a particular aspect, of all those administrative ways, administrative operations in the university. So that is an aspect of narrowing down. And then you could also look at, limiting yourself to just studying the students only. That's another way of narrowing down the scope of your research.
Okay.
So it could be based on the technology you want to consider. The narrowing down could come from that aspect. Or you could come from, what domain are you trying to apply that technology? You could narrow down in that aspect, the domain-specific narrowing. Or it could be with the intervention, the people using the intervention.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that's also an aspect of narrowing down. So since this is master's research, I think you don't have to worry much about narrowing down to that, be too narrow at the moment. It's a master's. It's for a PhD, you have to be more specific.
Okay.
Yes. So you look in to see what area do you want to apply that cloud computing, or examine the application of cloud computing to.
Like, for instance, based on what we studied during undergraduate studies,
Yes.
I was able to study, even though it was a little, some of the working library management information systems that are used by librarians to store information, sometimes for process that information before disseminating it to users.
Yeah.
So I am thinking of whether I can be more specific in that area, because this is what I have studied before, but still I want to divert a little bit, because mostly, if you could remember, I have once complained to you in this house that I studied library and then information science, and then more of what we studied was based on library. Of delivering information to users, and now there are emerging technologies that are used. Part of those technologies are these cloud-based and AI-powered generated stuffs that are used to render these services in the library, to the extent that we have virtual libraries that has more concern with books and other conventional information resources.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see how I can at least improve from what I have done before.
Okay.
Like, for instance, since in my level 4, I could remember we did a course that was particularly on information science, and it's a very broad course that has a lot under it. It has some computer science stuff like database management system, MIS, management information system, and even the information system. So after I graduated, then I realized that each of those areas we touched a little, it's a broad area that someone can specialize in. when I was applying for the recent Saudi government scholarship, I have seen all those courses I studied. It was no longer under Department of Library and Information Science, more of Department of Computer and Information Science. So I see that I am trying to see how I can move a little bit to, to be as far with this emerging technology. For instance, if we say information technology, information systems, they are almost the same thing when it comes to study. They talk about management information system, database management system, and their likes. So I'm trying to see, even when looking for admission, how can I adjust myself to that field so that they can see I am equal to the facts, or I am equal to what they are expecting me to. Since whenever you are applying for a course, they will say you have to have a degree, a bachelor in the field or a related field. So all this I can see, since my course of study was library and information science. So I can see how I can adjust from this library, conventional library stuff, to a more information science, which is more modern and has concern with this information system, information technology, information science itself, knowledge management, and what's like. So this is what motivated me to even try, think of doing this research, because I have a little knowledge about all these clouds and AI, because I have done similar research. My undergraduate research was similar on that, and during my IT, I was able to learn more about how they work and then how they are being utilized, especially in the library. So the reason why I don't want to be more specific to the library, I don't want maybe the supervisor or the institution itself to see that I'm still restricting myself to that library, and then themselves, they don't have, categorically they don't write, we are giving you admission in library and information science. Since when I started applying for masters, I have never, even for once, I have never seen anywhere that they write library and information science. It's either you see knowledge management, information management, information system, information technology, and whatnot. They no longer consider that library stuff as a field of study, because of the recent trend in technology and whatever. They have modified things and then make everything to stand on its own. So this is why I had this idea of this research.
Yeah, I totally get where you're coming from. If you remove the library from the name, information science is the same everywhere. You get what I'm saying? So don't feel like you're being, even though you apply this to the library, doesn't mean you're closing yourself to the library. It's your research. You said in your undergraduate you did courses regarding database management.
So say.
Yes, you did IT management. So for every application you have to highlight those components of your undergraduate. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
You have the capability, so it doesn't matter. And definitely, as you said, there's no way you see library and information science anywhere in the world, I think, apart from Nigeria. But it still doesn't matter, because it's everything you've learned, every skill you've learned is transferable to electronic health medical records. It's transferable to financial technology.
Yes.
It's transferable to every kind of thing you can think of. So it doesn't matter, because you have the LIS in your undergraduate. This master's, I'm sure, is going to break that fear, even though it's not even a problem. You get what I'm saying?
Yes,
so what you do is, you can still use the library as your case study, because even somebody in computer science purely can use library as a case study. It doesn't matter. You understand me?
Yes,
ma'am. Not that you're limiting yourself, but it's just that it gives you more advantage because you have the library background.
Yes, ma'am.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it doesn't matter. Anybody from computer science can also use the library as a case study. So what you could consider doing is, I don't know how technically, how would I even say, how your skills, technical skills are, computing skills. If you're able to develop like a cloud computing repository, you know?
Yes.
If you're able to, like a cloud-based library where you have people get access to books electronically from wherever. Or if you're able to download and get a number of access to some journal articles, and then you have it like in your own database. And
that you can give access to.
Yeah, you host it in the cloud. You can call it your cloud repository. You get what I'm saying? So it's all a form of library. Oh, hello, sorry. I think I know. Yeah, sorry.
We have the second segment of the as the second topic. I think from Saeed Muhammad, we had a topic.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Saeed, are you around? I don't think he's around.
I think it wouldn't really help if he's not around, I think,
So
right?
if he's not around, Muhammad Yahuza, today is your lucky day.
Or is there any other person that could be lucky that is around that has a topic?
No, I think we should just go ahead with Muhammad Yahuza. Hello.
Maybe we can also hear from others if they
Since at least they are present.
Yeah, since they're present.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's hear from
if
others.
others have questions.
Someone has a topic.
We can still come back to our agenda.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
In the absence of any topic, we can continue with Muhammad Yahuza.
Hello, house. Anybody? Because we've been talking about computing, I think it's not very interesting to everybody. So if you have any other topic in some other area, just drop it in the chat box and we'll see.
Abdul Salim, Shaibu, Adamu Sani, Buhari, Ahmad Abubakar. I think Muhammad Yahuza today is your lucky day.
Thank you, sir. Always lucky to have you, sir.
So we can continue.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I think what you need to do is, of course, it's quite simple. Last time, I think the name percent of the PhD, and it changed from 10 consultations to 7 years ago. And she's having a very big issue in cost.
Dr. Rufai, you're not clear.
Can you hear me clearly now?
Yes.
Am I very clear?
Yes.
Okay. I do like to do
Very clear, but better than before.
raising complaint about not time us to apply for. I need to do that is
Muhammad Yahuza, can you make yourself
Okay, sir.
yeah. So you need to reshuffle and modify your web. So don't necessarily mention library science, but you can really focus on some specific aspects of library science, just like explanation, create a cloud space that you can host a particular knowledge platform. You understand? That it's under library science. You don't need to mention library science, but actually what you do is you are trying to create a repository of knowledge. It can be or you can further improve the existing ones, you understand? So all you need to do is you need to read more, because normally all this information you can only get when you read a lot of articles. You can see where there are research where some informations are missing, and then you can be able to come up with a particular topic that will be very, very interesting and very, very accurate. So it's not something that happens overnight, but something that once you get the right knowledge, you understand, it's easy for you to be able to secure a very good opportunity with that. This is the most important, this is the most critical point. You understand? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. I'm listening.
Yeah, so this is having a research proposal that stands out is the most critical aspect of the PhD or master's degree, because that is where you show your knowledge of your ability to read different sorts of materials, synthesize knowledge, put knowledge together, having first-hand information, having knowledge that is up to date. Because if, for example, you read like some previous papers and there are some new knowledge, so if you don't know that knowledge, immediately you start explaining to your supervisor, you say, yes, what you said is quite interesting, but someone has already done it somewhere else. So there's nothing new in it. So I think you need to read, maybe try to get as new as much as possible articles related to this topic you are discussing. There must be something new that you will get out of it. And then you can be able to get a specific area of how you can be able to apply or write your research proposal. Research proposal is something that is always evolving. There is no any final research proposal. In fact, some that is, even when you are carrying out the research, you discover that there is something new that you can add to it, or you discover that there is something that has been done elsewhere. Then you take it out and then you add an existing or a new knowledge, which is called novelty, so that you can be able to improve the quality of the work. So it's quite challenging, but this is the most important aspect. So I think you are on the right track. So all you need to do is to add more effort, and most probably you will get it that you can be able to, a research proposal that you can be able to secure a very good opportunity with.
Inshallah, sir, outside. Thank you so much.
Don't worry, just keep working hard.
Thank you.
Okay, I think in the absence of anything, we can round up. Dr. Aliza, do you have anything to say? Or should we round up?
I don't really have.
Okay, what about the audience, please?
From the audience, please. If someone has something to chip in. I think we can start from. Okay, fine. Let me just. Madam Fatima, anything from your side?
I think I'll just try to share this particular article we went through with Muhammad Yahuza. And then, yes, we could continue working on the research proposal. If you have something, even if it's rough, you just feel free to send it to me, and then we'll discuss and see what we can improve. And then to others, if you have any topic or if you've written anything on your research proposal, you could share and I'll take the time to go through with you.
All right, Ma. Thank you so much.
Apart from consulting research articles, I think you can consult review articles too if you want to have a very good research proposal. Review articles.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, I think I will download a couple for you and share too.
Okay, Ma. Thank you so much.
And you can also check on your site.
Hey, inshallah, I'll try.
Yes. Especially systematic review one.
Yes.
I think they give you a summary. Yes, very good.
Very good.
Pointing that out. Yes.
From the research article helps you with writing research proposal.
Yes.
Okay. Inshallah.
Because it gives you the summary of the gaps that exist in that particular area you want to look into. What's done and what's not done. Yes.
Okay. Inshallah. Thank you so much.
Sorry. Coming in again, please, Dr. 2 minutes. Can you explain to him how he can be able to get the research gap from review papers or article review? Because what did it is one thing also to understand how what not been done.
Okay. I'm sorry. Let me quickly open. I hope I have access to this. Okay, so automatically most okay, let me go ahead to share this screen. Most systematic review papers, what they do is they, even in their abstracts, they capture what their findings are. So for example, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
yes.
So this is not very legible, but if you can just manage to see. This one is a semantic analysis of enterprise perception towards cloud computing adoption in the African states, the Nigerian perspective. So you see, it's a systematic analysis, so it's like a review paper. You understand? So apart from all this long English, come to the end of the paper here. You see, they say research finding identifies employee misconception of job loss, cyber threats, privacy issue, and data theft as strong indicative factors of cloud computing.
Yes.
So usually these review papers are very good at highlighting what other studies have not looked at. So when you come now for your own research, what you can do is try to see. Maybe you're taking this misconception of job loss. Generally with some technology, generally many people fear that they are going to lose their jobs if technology gets adopted.
Yes.
You get what I mean? So
Yes.
you could take this misconception of job loss to be your focus. You get me? How would you improve the system and
Yes.
make them know they're not going to lose their jobs because of that technology? So it could be in a way of empowering them with providing them with technical skills. You understand what I mean? Or
Yes.
you could think of with a framework or a guideline on, okay, if you want to adopt cloud computing in Ahmadu Bello University in the library, in order for the staff not to lose their jobs, you could, incorporate them in a way by improving their digital skills for them. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Another problem here is cyber threats, the fear of cyber threats. You could also narrow your studies down on that. Do you get what I'm saying? Or is it privacy issue? You look at what data protection laws you have in Nigeria and compare to other countries. What are other countries doing? So you could come up with a policy document advising the government on how to protect people's privacy in the cloud platform.
Yes.
So, this is just the example of how a systematic a review paper will give you to guide you. So this one is on enterprise, not particularly a tertiary institution. But when you look at that, you could look at if there's any systematic review that talks about the adoption of cloud computing in tertiary education.
Yes.
In that respect, to be able to identify what the problems are.
Okay.
And then you now take one problem and you now focus your research on it.
Okay, inshallah.
I don't know, Mala Ahmad, is that enough explanation?
I think that's more than enough.
Okay, I'll just stop sharing then.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
In the absence of anything, I think we can call it a day. Madam Huza,
Sorry, please. Sorry, I missed where you talked about how we could get across. My name is Abdul Shaibu. How we could get across if we have a research proposal topic or something that we need to before this opportunity comes again.
I don't know if you're on
Can you reframe your question?
Sorry?
Can you reframe the question?
Yes, how we could get across with a topic, a research topic, proposal for research proposal purpose, such that we could seek for support or guide while writing the proposal.
Okay.
Dr. Faiz, I think he's asking, are you, I don't know, Abdul Shaib, are you on the WhatsApp platform? The education enthusiast?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay, I think that's, usually, if through that platform, you could reach out to Dr. Hadiza or myself or Mala Ahmad or Dr. Faiz on that platform with your topic.
Okay.
So we could see if it's something we can, yes. So I don't know if we could, Dr. Hadiza, could you share the WhatsApp group link for them here?
Okay, let me do so.
Yeah. So I think if you join the group from there, you could just talk there.
Yes.
And then we'll take it up from there.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Madam Huza, are you satisfied?
Yes, sir. Very satisfied.
Hope we have answered your questions.
Alhamdulillah, wallahi, very well, sir. Thank you so much.
MashaAllah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I think we can call it a day.
Hello. Sorry, Dr. Pais. I think what Dr. Fatima just said very important. Now you can see she has shown you just a very brief way on how you can identify some research gap based on systematic review paper or review papers. So those are the areas that you need to focus on. Once you have maybe like 5 review papers and you read those areas and you're able to get, okay, this paper has, let's say, cybersecurity as suggested area where there is some area concerns. Then you have maybe like 3 or 4 having raising the same concern that you know that this is a problem that needs to be addressed. Then you can take it up from there and then design and see how you can be able to address those problems by your research proposal. So you can tailor that based on what you're already doing now. You don't need to change your focus. But all you need to do with that, you can be able to have a very clear picture of where you need to go, so that you will have a very interesting topic that is quite unique and is novel.
Inshallah, sir. I will try to do so.
Yeah.
Thank you, madam.
So much, Dr. Fatima.
Okay. I think they've dropped the message in the chat box for those that want to join the WhatsApp group. It's in the chat box now. So, thank you for listening, everybody.
Thank you for listening and thank you for joining.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, in the absence of anything, I call it a day. Thank you very much, Malama Fatima, Mala Ahmad, Dr. Hadiza, and everyone. Thank you very much for joining.
So, Abdul, have you seen the link? Abdul?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I've got it. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Yeah, Abdul, have you seen the link? Yes, I've seen it. I've taken all the details. Thank you, group. Yes, I will immediately. Thank you.
So, thank you, everyone. Till we meet.
We have another doctor that I think Dr. Mariam Shatima. Can you chip in before we call it a day? Dr. Mariam, are you? I think she is not close.
I think she has left. Okay.
Yeah, but she's around. But I don't think she is close to her phone or close to the computer.
Probably, yeah.
So, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Madam Fatima, Dr. Hadiza, and everyone.
So, I pray that we meet soon.
Thank you.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Mun gode sosai.
Yo.
So, bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So, guys,
Huh?
if everybody drops just a minute, if everybody drops from the call.
Sorry?
Just a minute if everybody drops from the call.
Okay.
Da Allah an za a raba ajiye mana kuɗin nan mu ma.
Ba rabo ba ne.
Pounds ne, ka sani ko pounds za ta ba, kin san
Dr. Nisha.
Na'am.
Zan yi zumunci zan hada su ne.
Gaskiya ya kamata.
One lost person,
Za su haɗa pounds. Za su raba pounds.
So, sai anjima. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum.